All right, guys, so sorry about that. My iPhone is so much better, but I can't see anything because of the way that I have it set up. So I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to try to set up my laptop closer when it comes time to actually doing the putting the epoxy on the cup. So we'll try that. Hi, Becky. All right, so I've got a bit more light than I did last time, but it's still not as good because of my my laptop. I'm gonna see. I do have just gonna see if I can set up my. It's really unfortunate because I had looked up a bunch of ways to try to get the to test this beforehand, but I'm not really good at it, so it was really difficult for me to be able to see if I could test before I actually went live. No, no, that's not good. That's not gonna cover. Oh, hi, Monica from California. I'm in Canada, where it's very, very cold. Oh, hi, Melinda. Hi, Jerry. I'm going to move up for sure when it comes time to putting the epoxy on the cup, and hopefully you guys can see a little bit better. I'm super excited because I bought these new pigments today, and I was hoping to be able to do a new cup and show you guys how I do it. I'm going to move this. I'm going to move my table a bit over. Yeah. It's unfortunate because my phone worked so much better. And I could actually zoom in with my phone, but not so much with my laptop. But I'll figure it out for the next time. By the way, guys, this is my second live. I've only done this once before. Oh, hi, Jerry. I'm in Ottawa, which is like between Montreal and Toronto. It's like the really cold part of Canada. But it's actually not so bad right now. It's about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, hi, Violet. So, yeah. I bought some new pigments today. I actually went to this local art store, and I was asking for glitter, and she goes, "Do you mean like pigment?" It's, no, glitter, like glitter, the shiny stuff. And she's like, "Oh, because we have this this pigment stuff." And I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "What kind?" And she said pearl something, and I'm like, "Oh, I've heard of that." And I got super excited. And then I ran away from my family, and I went and followed her, and I found pigments, and I was like, cool, because this I've seen other people use pigments, and they're great. I use for my swirl cups acrylic paints, obviously, and also I did a tutorial last week where I sort of gave away a little secret that I've been kind of keeping to myself because I found these in like the back of Michael's. I've also used these airbrush paints, which are really cool because when you do an acrylic cup, I don't know if any of you guys have done acrylic cups, but when you do an acrylic cup, the epoxy gets really, really thick sometimes, and then it's really hard to work with. But with these guys, it's not so hard. And also I've heard that with these, like these pigments, it's the same sort of thing. They don't get all goopy and like, you know, hard to work with. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. So I need you guys, I'm not sure which colors I'm going to use. Sorry, I'm just going to I have to like lean down to get into the camera because I want you guys to see this later on. So I'm going to move you guys forward. So I got 7 different colors. I got a color called Super Copper. You know what? This light is distracting right now. I don't know if you guys, if this is any better, but this is called Super Copper. I got, of course, a white, pearl white. Okay. I got a regular black. It's called Carbon Black. And you guys are lucky because I hear that your Michaels has kits of them, or like we call them like a whole set of them. And there's different sets. Okay, and then this guy is Brilliant Gold. Okay, so those are 4 that I won't be using, but I just wanted to show them to you. The 3 that I have chosen are this guy. I don't know if you can see that. You can, it's very similar to the copper, but it's called mink. The reason why I wanted to use it is because the girl goes, oh, this is so pretty. It's like, it kind of goes turquoise, which is really weird because it doesn't look like it at all. It's kind of like a brown. But anyway, we'll see what it looks like. And then I wanted to use, it's called Interference Gold, which I don't think I meant to pick up. I think this was in the wrong place. But when I got it, I was like, cool, looks really neat. Yeah, so there's a small set of 12. Yeah, I think there's 2 sets of 12, Penny. There's like, I can't remember what they're called, but I've heard people refer to them. They're like PearlEx Series 1 or Series 2 or whatever. These came in individual ones. Okay, the 3rd color I wanted to use is Sunset Gold. So I thought these 3 colors looked good. I have no idea what they're going to look like. I'm not the best at color matching when it comes to like first sort of, you know, first goes. But then I usually make it work because I kind of go into like mad scientist mode and I start mixing things, mixing colors and adding things to try to make it look better. So, and the other thing too, so these are the 3 colors that I chose, it's a gold, like a whitish, and sort of a brownish, copperish, the mink color. So I wanted to add another color, like, I don't know, either sort of a pink, blue, something that gives it a little bit of contrast. I was wondering, what colors do you guys think? I probably don't have it in these colors, but I'm going to mix it with one of the paints that I have. With the airbrush paints, and I have this in a bunch of colors. So I have this turquoise, I have like orange, pink, yellow, purple, blue. Yeah, I have a lot of different colors. I'm thinking, I don't know, I want to add a little like a color to it because these are pretty neutral. So yeah, the teal, eh? Somebody's asking. So yeah, this is like a nice teal turquoise. That might look really nice actually. And it's the one I just happened to grab. And you know what? If it doesn't work, like I said, I'm like one of those like, okay, this isn't working, so let's see if we can fix it. And I kind of try to fix it. Yes, I think the micas and PearlEx are basically the same kind of thing. They're powders, they're pigment powders. And they mix into the epoxy, and then obviously you put it onto your cup. You drizzle it the way that I do it. My swirl cups, I drizzle it onto my cup, and I have like sort of a way that I do that. And I'm going to see if this works. I also grabbed my bling because I love bling. And what I do with this, again, this is one of those last minute, oh my gosh, this might work, to fix whatever it is that's not quite working, or to add that little bit of oomph. Last time I did a video, I didn't use this, but I have used it before, and I don't know if you've seen, I have a purple one that I've posted on the groups, and I've added a little bit of bling, and it's like awesome. So, and you only have to add it to one color. I think if you add it to all the colors, it'll just look crazy. So I just add it to one color, and then it just kind of blends in, but not too much. It just adds a tiny little bit. It's so pretty. So we'll see. I'll try it and we'll see. I got these little clear cups for you guys because last time I had white cups, and I think I'll be able to see the color a little bit better in these. So let's try that. All right, so I'm going to, Vicky, I use bling on everything. Yeah, me too. Bling is awesome. I love it. It's perfect. Like you can do so much with it. So I use one of these cups for this kind of thing because I'm going to put a lot of epoxy in here. And again, normally for a cup this size, honestly, like if I was just doing this on my own, I would probably just put 30 mils of each. I'm one of those kind of people that try to make sure that I have enough, but you don't need that much. I'm going to put way more in here because I really want to have enough, because you can always save this. If something goes wrong and you're like, that does not look good, you can totally fix it. I've fixed stuff where I've been like, oh my, why? Like it just did not look good. And then I added, and then boom, it just came to, you know, it just became something much different because I was kind of looking, what do I have? What can I match? And just make it work. So I'm going to do that because I don't want to mess up that badly on a live. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put 2 pumps of each, but like I said, I would not normally do this. I would probably do 1 pump of each. I use Pro Marine, but you know what? Use whatever you have. Whatever you're used to, it's epoxy. Epoxy is epoxy, as far as I'm concerned. I just like this one because I was using the Amazing brand. And then I bought this because it was cheaper, to be honest. It's like, it's cheaper. And I ended up loving it. It was like a nice finish for me. It was perfect. So for some of you who don't know or who haven't didn't watch my other video, I broke my wrist last November, so I'm pressing like really hard on this. And it probably wouldn't be this difficult if I hadn't broken my wrist. But I'm putting my 2 pumps in. I put my whole weight on it to put a little bit less pressure on my wrist. Okay, wait for it to come up. And I really will try to find a way. It's too bad because my iPhone was working really well in terms of trying to, like I could have probably zoomed in, but then I wouldn't have been able to see the comments or seen, you know, anything other than what was going on. But I will figure this out. I'll bring it closer, like I said. I'll try to, maybe I'll set it up here and point it down so you can see what I'm doing. I'll move this out of the way for now. That's my light. Okay, so this guy's ready. My next pump number 2. Oh, and I have cups back there too that need epoxy, so I'll probably use the rest of this epoxy to put on those cups after. But yeah, you wouldn't want this much. This is like way too much for this. But I'm one of those like a little bit paranoid people. I just want this to work. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody comment, so I'm wondering if that's working or not. Could somebody just comment, say hi? Because it hasn't updated in a little bit, so I just want to make sure. I don't want to miss any questions. I see the like. I see Karen's comment that says newbie here. Oh, there, see, this happened last time too. It just stopped. It stopped scrolling. Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is for the tons of comments that I missed. I'm so sorry. I don't know why. It just stopped scrolling all of a sudden. I'm still getting used to this. But yeah, this cup I got off Amazon, and I like it for large quantities. It's not great for small quantities. I usually just use the little measuring cups, and I've got a ton of them. Oh, Marjet, is it Marjet? Can you switch hands in terms of pushing down? I don't think I could. I don't know if I could use my left hand to push down. I'm just really not coordinated, although with 2 months in a cast, you would think that I would know how to use my left hand, but not so much. I never got used to it. Nikki, so I got these pumps. Okay, so it's Promarine, but I bought the pumps from Alumilite. I bought the pumps from Promarine, but they're not meant for them. So what happened is I had a it was a 5-in-1 system, so 1 pump to 5 pumps, but it wasn't equal. So you know what? I've seen other people use the ones from Alumilite, so I just bought them from there. And the good thing is that if I want to continue to use these, I'm just going to reuse them for the next gallons that I buy. So yeah, they say not to use the pumps, but I think it's because this is going to sound bad, but I really hounded them because I told them about Alumilite, and I told them, like, I contacted them and I said, hey guys, do you guys sell pumps? Because you know that one of your biggest competitors sells pumps for their epoxy, and they had never even heard. But when I ordered from them, they didn't even know about using these on tumblers. I was the first person, I think, to show them that I use this on tumblers. So they were like, oh, you can do that. I said, well, yeah, that's what, a lot of us use epoxy for. So, and then they were saying that it's not meant for that, because you're supposed to it's tabletop epoxy. That's what they sell it as. But the research that I've done shows that most of the resin epoxy that we use is tabletop, i.e. meaning you can drop food on it, it's food safe. Most of them that are tabletop are supposed to be safe for that kind of thing. So safe for tumblers, for example. So anyway, I don't know, they just say not to use them, but I've used them for, my gosh, I switched probably in August, so August or September at the latest. So September, October, November, December, 5 months now. And nothing, I can't complain. Everything's been fine. I love my epoxy. I love my coats. Oh, sorry, that's my alarm on my phone. To take my nighttime meds, but I'm not going to do that now. Oh yeah, the individual. These guys, by the way, I'm in Canada, so obviously these are going to be different. I paid $3.19 Canadian for each of these. It's probably way more than what you guys would pay in the US for kits. These are 3 gram portion, 3 grams, yeah, each. So that's just what it cost me. I don't know if Michael sells them individually, but if anybody knows, please do let us know. And okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to make sure I don't miss any other questions. Just going through. Oh, okay. Promarine has been setting open for months. I just ran out of Alumilite. Can I order pumps? Oh, the other thing that I did too for pumps when I first started, so the ones that I bought from Promarine, they were the 5-in-1. The one pump was really short, and I went to Sally's and I got a pump, and I used the extension to the Sally's pump, and I used it. It worked fine. Like, I have my other half gallons in the corner over there. They're done. And I used them until they were done, but the problem is that I couldn't do 1 pump of each. 1 pump of each is really convenient. It's like boom, boom, they're the same. I'm very picky about stuff like this, and I will do it over and over and over again until I know, yes, it's the same amount. And it's like 27 mils each pump that I get from each side. So I'm comfortable saying, yes, I do 1 pump of each and I'm good. That's why I switched to those, but you know what? Whatever works, works, right? So I'm going to go ahead and split these guys up and start mixing my pigments in. So I've mixed my epoxy. What I normally do is I split these into equal or semi-equal portions. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's probably difficult to see, but I'll show you in a moment. I'll just turn around. I'm just dumping the epoxy into these little clear containers. This is about how much I put into each. Okay. And now I'm going to start mixing the color. I have a ton of epoxy left over here. I always, even if I'm going to mix, for example, like right now I'm going to use these 4 colors, right? So even if I have these 4, I always leave some left over just in case. Like I said, I'm one of those like, okay, we can save this if something bad happens. Probably because something bad has happened a lot of times. So now I prepare and I make sure. So I don't like to waste products. I don't like to waste people's time and my time and what I'm doing. So I try to be as effective as possible. So, ooh, this is exciting. Opening these guys up. This is my, what's it called? The exact name is Interference Gold. Does not look like gold. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's like a shimmery white. I wish you guys could see this, but it's really difficult for me to show you the exact color. And I'm going like, whoop, I dropped a little bit. It's not good. Anyway, I'll move it forward a little bit later and show you. Now I'm going to use a dry stick. I think for this, like for these guys, you only have to put a couple of drops. For this, I've seen people use quite a bit. So I'm going to start with like, I'm going to bring this over, this much. And see, especially since it's like sort of a pale color, I want to make sure I have enough in there to make it opaque, because the last thing I want is for it to go onto the tumbler and then you see right through it, you see the silver like, coming right through. Wow, no, this is really nice. It's like it's really like a pearl sort of color, but it does have a little bit of a yellow, so I can understand now how it's named. It's called Interference Gold, so I can see that. And what I'm going to do also is I'll show you guys pictures. Like I'll put a video of the tumbler afterwards for sure. Oh, this is so pretty. My goodness. Okay, I'll show you guys in a second. Wow, I think I'll be getting more of this. And it mixes really nicely, so it's not too thick. Look at that. Like, that's perfect. Like, I'm hoping it keeps that consistency, because I don't know if anybody has used alcohol inks before. If you have and you know what I'm talking about, it gets really thick. Okay, so people are telling me that it's more than they normally use, but Marge, it says interference colors aren't opaque. This looks, maybe it was a good thing that I used a lot on this one, because this does not, it looks really, it doesn't look translucent. It looks pretty opaque. So let's cross our fingers on that. You know what? I think you're still going to be able to see that on the tumbler, so I'm not too concerned about that. You know what, maybe I'll put a little bit less of this guy. This is the one that's called Mink. Has anybody used this before? If you have, give me a sign, because I'd like to, I've already got a popsicle stick in there. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to wait to see. Is this too much, do you guys think? I'm going to wait until I get a little bit of feedback for those of you who've used these before. for this much epoxy. Maybe I'll put like half of that. Okay, I'm going to put this much. It doesn't look as much because it's about half the width. Okay, I'm going to mix it and start from there and see. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. It's like a chocolate. Ooh. Really does look like chocolate. Now I get the, also I get the pearl in the PearlEx. It's like so shimmery. I think I'll be getting myself another tumbler. I'm not going to want to give this one up. Oh, now I see what she means. Okay, so the lady there was telling me that it has somewhat of a greenish hue, like sort of what do you call it? Turquoise. Oh, I totally see what she means. So guys, when we made that decision about this is going to be so pretty. I can totally tell because I can see the green hue in this, like the turquoise. Oh my gosh, yeah, getting super excited. Don't know. I'm looking at it. It looks. I may have to add a tiny bit more. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Again, this is my first time using these, but I think I want to add a tiny bit more. I've seen a lot of videos on how they do this, and they usually take a little tiny bit and they really mash it up into a tiny little bit of epoxy, and then they mix it into the whole thing because the little grains have to be really ground up. I didn't do that this time. I've seen the technique, and then I've seen it the way that I just did it, just dumping it in. So because you don't want grains, right? So I get that, but apparently it blends really well is the other thing that I've seen. So I'm just taking a chance here. And we'll see. I love this color. I swear, this is so pretty. It's like a chocolate, but it has like that, like holographic. You know how the holographic has a bit of like a green hue kind of to it. That's what it looks like. So anyway, we'll see. And then this guy, it's a sunset gold. I thought that might look pretty. Okay, let's mix that into this. I may just put a tiny little bit of this sunset gold on the actual tumbler. We'll see. Oh, wow. I'm super impressed with these guys. They're so pretty. Yeah. I think I'll be making more of these more often, actually. Wow. Yeah, I put a lot into this, and I can see this one here, you don't need a lot. So this sunset gold, it just right away, it just like, I don't know if you can, it's really hard. I've got to do something about the lighting in here so that you guys can really see this. It's so rich and pretty. Okay. That aside, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my turquoise. Like I said, I think I might just use a little bit, although I love the color, just in terms of matching, I think I'm going to just use a little bit of that gold and just use the other colors. I have a little bit more epoxy in this. Wasn't really intentional, but just a few drops of this. Again, this is Testors Opaque Airbrush Paint in the turquoise color. I'm in Canada. They're $6.99. I always get a coupon, of course. And they don't make your epoxy all stringy and gross. You can use it. You can keep it, you know, nice and loose for a long time. So I like that. Love these. Okay. think I'm good here. Okay, so then when I put them on my tumbler, the way that I usually start, I put the, oh, Lori, these are PearlEx. I found them at a local art store. I had heard of them. I had seen people use them, but this is the PearlEx brand from, what are they called again? I don't know if they're called mica powders or if they're the same thing as micas. I'm not quite sure, but they're pigment powders. So yeah, they're really pretty. I love them. And they had like a whole, they didn't have the kits like they do at Michael's. They just had a whole section with a whole bunch of individual ones. So I said, oh, okay, well, I'll buy a few individual ones, the colors that I like, and I'll try them out. Okay, so I'm going to try the darkest. I usually go from the darkest color to the lightest color. Now I can see for this one, though, I'm not quite as happy about how this is blended. So I see how that technique of really blending it helps. I hope it's not too grainy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the computer over so that you guys can really see this time. Well, my battery here. Just going to bring that up. I want to position you guys above the tumbler so you guys can really see what's happening. Oh gosh, I hope that works. Oh no, I don't think it will. Darn it. Oh wait, maybe. I got it. Hold on. If I put you guys on this end of my turner. Ha, okay. I might be able to do this. I'm just going to turn off my light. I'm going to turn off this guy because this is going to be too close to these tumblers. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm going to move these bottles over. Sorry, guys. I really, really want you guys to see the tumbler. Okay, so this is what I can do for now, and I'll bring you guys in closer. Oops, sorry. Just got to get over the cord. Hopefully I'll have a better setup for next time. Okay. So you guys can see the tumbler. Oh, well, that's not so bad. It's not perfect, but it's not so bad. You guys let me know if you guys can see this okay, if the light is not really terrible. Okay. All right. Actually, I can move this up too. Move it even closer, and like that. Okay. Perfect. Much better, I think. Awesome. Yay. Okay. Oh, and by the way, this turner, I have to give a shout out to Hannah. Hannah K. Davis built this tumbler. I bought this from her. I love it. It's awesome. It's gone through the ringer because I use it almost every day. So it's got epoxy all over. Her name is Tina Turner. And I love her. She's fantastic. When she misbehaves, which may happen like maybe twice in like several months, I call her Ike Turner, but normally she's Tina, and I love her. And I wanted to put like a whole bunch of like things all over her, like lyrics of songs, but I got busy, and I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I haven't done it. But anyway, here goes. Okay, so the first color that I'm going to use, okay, is this one here, which is the pretty mint color. Let's see what it does. Okay, the way that I do my swirl cups is I start off and I just gently go ahead and, again, my darkest color, I just swirl it on all over the cup. I use a small popsicle stick to make thin lines. I find it's a little bit, I don't know, maybe the thicker ones will do the same thing. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a psychological thing. Use the thin ones for thinner lines. I just find that it's got nice definition. Okay. So normally I do 3/4 of the what I have in the container, I put onto the base of the cups. Okay, so I keep about 1/4. So I've got about this much left in there. That might not be enough, but again, because I kept a little bit of epoxy on the side, that's why I kept that. Okay, I'm going to use the next color. The next color is the, oh, this is so pretty. This is the, I don't want to get it wrong, Sunset Gold. So I'm just going to use, I'm not going to use very much of this at all for now, just a tiny little bit. Because first of all, it's very similar to the color that's on there already. I just want just touches of this. I think it's just going to look, just little touches. It's just what I'm kind of thinking. And we'll see. I may change my mind. I'm just going to wait till it rotates a little bit because like I just want a little bit. Okay. There we go. And maybe a tiny little bit more. Okay. Next, I'm going to put this turquoise in there. See what that does. See, I don't know if any of you have ever used acrylic paints before, but to get this color as rich as it is in acrylic paints, like the paints, the little paints that you buy, it would already, in my experience anyway, be kind of getting thick. You wouldn't be able to get such a nice color. It wouldn't flow like this. It kind of gets stringy and very hard to work with. So this is very, very different, these paints. I think it's because they're already thin. Like when you shake the paints, they're super thin as opposed to being thick like in the tubes or the little what do you call them, the little containers there. I have a lot of them. Put a lot of this turquoise in there. I love turquoise. It's one of my favorite colors. And now I'm going to go ahead with this beautiful white sort of actually it's not white, it's the gold. Sorry, interference gold. So this will be interesting to see because the interference is the one that you guys have been telling me is sort of different than the other ones. I saw that they had an interference purple. I have no idea what the differences are. If somebody wants to go ahead and explain that or help me out there, who knows more, go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can read some of the questions here, guys, because if you have any questions. Anna. Oh yeah, Erica, no, I don't prime. I don't prime my cups. I've never primed. Actually, the only thing that I did to my cup before I did this is I just wiped it off with alcohol. That's it. The most I'll ever do to my cups, if I do something like for glitter, for example, okay, I will take my I'll spray paint it if there's anything, just because I don't want to have to use so much glitter that I'll spray paint. But that's pretty much it. But I don't prime these guys. No, I've never found a need to. So once I've done this and most of the cup is covered, and I've used about 3/4 of the colors, I take a brush. You can take any brush. I use these silicone brushes, and the only reason I use these, or the main reason, is because you can easily take the epoxy off of them. You just you let it dry, and then you can just pop the epoxy off, and I run it underwater with some soap, and off you go. It's perfectly fine. So and it's reusable over and over and over again. And they're cheap. I can get them at the dollar store. Though my favorite are the ones from IKEA, I have to say. They're really cool. Oh, and I should tell you guys, I don't know if this is happening in the US. By the way, all I'm doing with this is just very, like barely touching it, just very gently, like smoothing it out. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get the entire cup covered with paint. Okay, so, or epoxy, whatever you want to call it. I don't want any stainless steel peeking through. Okay, so this is like, it's just to give it a base. You're going to look at this, you're going to do this, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look good. It will look good. I promise you that, because we're going to do a few other things afterwards, and it'll look amazing. Wow, this is really pretty. I love how this is turning out. I don't know, you guys probably can't see the detail in the colors very well right now, but I promise I will post afterwards so that you can see. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to see. Yeah, so okay, so it's opalescent. Okay, so kind of see-through. Ah, that would make sure. Yes, interference, duh. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense now. So you can kind of, it's not as opaque. See, what's very weird is that if I had known that before, I probably wouldn't have bought it, because they also have the paints, the paint, where is it? Where's my paint? Oh, this guy. These guys, they also have them in like a translucent rather than opaque. And I'm like, well, I don't want that, because if I put that in my epoxy, then I'm going to be able to see my cup. Like I'm going to be able to see the steel, and I don't want that. I want it to be opaque. So that's interesting. But it's really pretty on here. The interference gold is really, really pretty. So, see, I've learned a lot. I'm always learning, always trying different things. Kind of weird like that. It keeps it fun. It keeps it fresh. So once you've seen that you've gotten most of it covered, like you should pretty much have it all covered. Wish I could show you guys this, because it's not super pretty. Well, actually, it kind of is pretty. But it's not what you would expect from a swirl cup. Okay, let me see if I can show you guys. You guys see that a little bit? Gosh, this is hard with a laptop like this, and not a great color. You know what? I'm gonna get my work to upgrade my laptop, because this is my work laptop. That's not cool work. Okay, so once you've covered your base like this, here, this is where you're gonna add your actual swirl to your cup. Yeah, I love this. Okay, this to me is gonna be one of those how do you say, like classy, yeah, classy cups. Like, you know, I don't know. It's gonna look, I think it's gonna look, anyway. That's, maybe I'll call it that, my classy cup. Because it's got, you know, like grown-up sort of colors, and like sort of, you know, really rich, and yeah, I like it. So far, so good. I'm thinking, if I were gonna add a little bit of bling to it, what would I do, or how would I do that? Anyway, I'll see. Okay, so see, I'm running out of this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of my leftover epoxy. See, this is why this is good. Sometimes you just need a little bit more. So I'm gonna mix that in and see. Oh, wow. That's neat, because even adding that, I don't really need to add much more pigment, because it's still pretty We'll see. Yeah, see, it's still dark, so I don't really need to add more pigment to it. Cool, I like it. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start with this color. I'm not quite sure I'm gonna add any more of the gold because I want to focus on the two other colors. The sort of the turquoise, obviously, and the lighter color, which is my interference gold. Kind of looks, well, it kind of looks like white with a little bit of yellow, I guess, or beige. Okay. All right. So here, I'm going to focus more on this guy, this turquoise. Put a lot of that on because I want that to stand out. Okay. I'm going to wait till it turns a little bit. The other thing that you can do to get things moving a little bit is you can also use your embossing gun, heat gun, torch, if you want to get things to sort of mix a little bit more, but you have to proceed with caution when it comes to that, because you don't want to put too much heat on it, because then it'll mix too much, and then you'll just get a jumbled mess rather than a nice swirl pattern. Okay, so here's my, okay, this is my interference. I'm going to add a little bit more epoxy to it, I think. Yeah, I'm going to add a tiny bit more epoxy. And I'll probably add a little bit more pigment to it. Ooh, the epoxy is getting warm. You'll find that there are spots that, little holes that kind of come up, not holes, little, yeah, blank spots sometimes. So I go in and that's where I put a lot of my drizzle. Like I'll put a drop of drizzle into those little areas. Again, the embossing gun is good for that too, the little bubbles that show up, but not too much. Okay. And sometimes what happens is you get these areas that are a little bit more thick than you want. Like I've got a big area here that's got a lot of the white or the gold, the interference gold. So I'll go in when it comes back and I'll just drop a tiny little bit of another color in there to kind of get it to blend a little bit more. Oh, this. Okay, so how does that look so far? It'll continue to sort of blend as it turns, right? It's not going to stay like this. It's really going to continue to blend into a nice pattern. So I'm going to wait till it comes out. I think I'm going to put a little bit of the turquoise in some of the areas. So the what I do is I take the paint and I kind of go like just into the areas that have big blobs kind of thing. Just nice little, just to break it up. Gentle. There we go. And now, actually, I do see some bubbles, so I'm going to go ahead, just gently pop some of the bubbles that are formed without beating too much. So we'll have a good look at it. Let me see. Let me add some of this. It's very similar actually to the other colors. So sometimes that happens. I wasn't expecting that because it looks very different. But the other thing that I like to do, so if I find that there's colors that are too similar, what I do is I'll just start mixing. For example, this. Okay. I have this Pearl airbrush paint. Let's see. It's starting to get a bit thick, but I can still work with it. Yeah, okay. I'm going to throw a little bit of this in to lighten it. Try that. Just to, oh, actually, I've never used this Pearl guy. This Pearl white. It's like a, I've used Pearl purple, turquoise, all kinds of different colors, and we'll see. See what happens when I lighten this. May or may not work. This is what I do. I kind of experiment and try things and see. Yeah, it did get a bit, ooh, it got a bit brighter. I'm going to add a bit more to it because it's not as bright as or as light as I'd like it to be. And sometimes you'll add stuff and you'll think, oh, that didn't work out. Well, that's fine. That's why I have a whole bunch of other epoxy sitting there that's ready to go, ready to be mixed. Actually, this is really pretty as it is, so I'm just going to add just little tiny drizzles to this. It's very rich. Just tiny drizzles. Oh, you know what I want to do? Actually, I want to put some white in this to make it a lighter shade of this turquoise. I'm going to add a little bit of epoxy again, just so I have a bit more, and then some white, just a tiny little bit. I don't think I'm going to add, well, yeah, maybe I will. Hold on. I was thinking I might not add some of the bling, but you know what? I might do it. I think I should have shook this a bit. It's not the consistency. Oh no, that's good. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try, like, when I put bling, I just put a tiny little bit. Little goes a long way. Okay, I'm gonna go down and see. Oh, Jessica, I'm using, they're not alcohol inks, they're actually pigments. Okay, so I added, guys, like just this much, like just a tiny little touch. I just want it to have a tiny little bit of bling. See if that's enough. We'll see. And I've lightened it. I've used a little bit of white, because I find that just having that little tiny, oh, okay, yeah, that's nice. I like it. Okay. That really made it, I'm not going to add a lot of this. Actually, I don't see much of the bling, but just the lighter color, the lighter turquoise color. Wow. Okay. And very light lines. I don't want too much of it. So I'm going to do very, very, very gentle, light lines. And you'll be able to see when I show you the finished cup, the difference in the colors. And the two turquoise colors, you'll clearly be able to see them. But that's what I like to do. This mad scientist thing, I wasn't kidding. It's like constantly, you know, trying to add to it, see. And if something doesn't look good, you just keep kind of, you know, adding. And Worst comes to worst, it's fine. It's just not a, you know, it just doesn't work out. But I think I'm pretty happy with this so far. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit it a couple times. I can see a couple bubbles. Wow, guys, this is really coming out good. I'm happy with it. I'll show you a close-up in a minute. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get a light over here so you guys can see the true, I don't know if this is going to be able to help you guys see the light, see the colors. I can't see. No, it's not, you can't really tell, but, oh. No, you won't be able to tell until I really, until I show you guys a video, but it's nice. I really like it. Bling, bling. I love bling. Okay, I don't know if you guys, oh, there we go. You guys see that? It's really, really rich. Really rich. Oops, this way. It's the opposite. Anyway, I hope you liked my tutorial. You know, you can do this with any colors, and I'm not the best at matching colors, to be quite honest. I just kind of think things up, and sometimes they don't work. I think this one's not so bad. I'm pretty happy with it. But obviously, you know, some people are really great at color matching. Sometimes I have to look at my little color wheel. But I think it's pretty cool. I can see a tiny little bit of bling. It's not as blinged out, but I don't think it needs it because the pearl is so pretty and shimmery in this case. I've done others where they've been just the plain colors, and you add bling to one color, just one color, and it just pops, and it's so pretty. So that's what I normally do. I don't normally do more than one because it's too much. You just need a tiny little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna take a look. Let's see. Oh, Bryn, I used the bling, the actual bling from Recollections. It's the actual color bling from Recollections. This guy, the one that you can barely see the label. Oh, I don't do the bottom on these cups. I don't do the bottom. I just leave the bottoms like that. I usually do my glitter cups. I do the bottoms, but I don't, because I don't know. Oh no, there's a little, are you kidding me? There's a fly that got on. Okay, there we go. How is there a fly in? I don't even think it looked like a mosquito. Okay, how do we fix this? This is how. Thankfully, it's early in the process, or not early, but early enough. Hopefully that did it. Oh my gosh, that was so weird. I saw something flying in here earlier, and I was like, what is that? It's like winter. Yeah, hopefully there's no other flies around. Yeah, and I will show you guys the tumbler tomorrow. I'll post it in the thing, in the live later. Like, I'll put it on my turner, and so you guys can really see the colors. And yeah, if you have any questions, guys, anytime, just contact me. I'm willing to help if I can. I love doing this. I do this because it's a release for me and it's fun. So have a good night, and yeah, have a good week. Bye, guys.